So just allow yourself to very slowly settle in. And just make any adjustments you need to do so that you can get yourself sinking as deeply into the mat as your body will allow. And then widen your legs and take your arms out to the sides. And just begin to follow your breath. So notice the back of your head. Notice your shoulders, your shoulder blades. Your arms and your elbows, your wrists. How far are they sinking in and how far are they raised off? Is one side very different from the other? Just being curious about what's going on. And if you find some parts of your body are elevated and they just don't want to relax, just spend a few breaths focusing on those areas and just invite them to soften a little bit more. Just encourage those shoulders to sink and soften. Encourage those calves to relax a little bit more. The wrists. So this is the time you would form an intention for the class if you choose. Something you want to work on in the class, something you want to work on in the day or in your life. A way you want to be. Probably more like a way you want to be than a thing you want to do. Sometimes it's good for intentions. So I invite you to breathe a little bit more deeply, imagining the breath coming from the tips of your toes all the way up, breathing all the way up to the crown of your head in this imaginary huge breath. And let it out the same exhale from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Let's do that a couple more times. Deep breath in. And complete exhale. And one more time. And if it works in your body, take your arms up and overhead, clasp your fingertips together and flip your heels of your hands over and reach up with those heels of the hands. Press into those fingers, lengthen out through the toes, take a deep stretch. If you find your arms are okay up and overhead and they're not flopping up in the air, you can leave them up overhead because our first pose is going to be banana pose. So take your left, slide that left heel over to the left side of the mat, slide that right heel over beside that left heel, feel that great stretch from the waist down. And then you can slide your arms and shoulders over to the left too and come into your banana shape. If it's not working in your upper body, you can bring your arms down to where they feel soft and you can maintain it, the pose with ease. And we're just going to stay here for a few minutes. Stay with your breath and your body, allowing yourself to really sink in, send some nice energy and chi through the joints, through the lymphatic system. So leave your legs where they are, bring your arms back down to the mat, and then bring yourself totally back to the center. And just pause here for a moment, noticing the sensations. We're going to do everything on that side, and then we're going to do the same process on the other side. So what I'd like you to do now is bend both your knees, and then lift up your hips and drop your left hip down closer to the right side of the mat. Bring your arms out to the side or up and overhead like you had them. So whatever works in your body. And then slide your left leg straight down. Take your right leg over to the left and lengthen it out. So your leg is at an angle to the mat. Now, if your left leg is straight out behind you, you can try to walk it back a little bit more towards the right. So you're kind of doing like a split on your back. It's a supine split here. So you want to make yourself comfortable. So the legs are the thing that we're working the most. But I'm trying to do a little more upper body work in these poses too. So just find a place in your upper body where you can do some stretching or stressing of the joints without causing any sharp shooting pains.
Oh, okay.
So my legs are like in a split, as much as I can get them in a split. And then I'm trying to bring my arms up overhead as long as I can rest them on the mat. So a little bit of a split twist, kind of. If it doesn't work in your upper body, you can come all the way over and just work on the leg split. So it's up to you. Your pose. Did I start the thing? Yeah. So you're probably feeling this if you're in the split twist on the outside of your right thigh. And if you manage to scooch that left leg back a little, probably feeling it in the inner and back of the left leg. A little bit on the top too. But it's your body, so you can feel it in places that, depending on where it's the most tightness. Sometimes when I'm in a class, the teacher says, well, you're probably feeling it here, and I'm not feeling it anywhere near where they're talking about. So that doesn't make it wrong. That just means your body needs some stressing in a different area. Once you're in the pose, see if you can soften a little bit more. Relax that right leg. See how straight you can get it to be. This goes all the way down that TFL, that long bit of cartilage that's on the outside of the legs. Just breathe and keep softening those shoulders, the jaw. So very, very slowly and carefully help that right leg come back. Keep your knees bent. And come into a constructive rest pose, which is taking your feet out to the sides of the mat and dropping your knees into the center. Place your right hand on your chest and your left hand on your belly, and just notice how that right hip is feeling. What I like about that pose, it not only gets into the hip, but if you can relax, you get all the way down to the outside of the knee. You can get the attachment down there. And it just is a great way to help the knee keep strong, flexible. So we have one more movement on this side. So we're going to bring the feet back parallel, keep the knees bent, and we're going to do the piriformis stretch, figure 4. So you're going to take your right ankle and put it on top of your left knee, and then we're going to stretch the same area in a different way. So you're going to draw that left knee in and place your hand on your shin or the back of your thigh. So you get a little bit more into the underside of the hip. Again, check for tension, check for areas that are resisting. Notice the resistance. Make any adjustments you need to make. And then just surrender to the shape. Very slowly unwind from this pose and make your way down onto the mat on your back. And we'll just do a rebound for this right side or left side, whatever, right hip. So just bring your legs down to the mat and just stop for a moment and notice any changes or any energy flow. And when you're ready, we're going to do our banana pose on the other side. So again, arms up position is optional. You can bring them up and overhead. And you can slide your right heel over to the right, your left heel over to meet it. And then bring your upper body over to the right too. And find your perfect Goldilocks position. And we're going to stay here for a few minutes. begin to come back from that pose, come back to the center. And bend your knees for a heartbeat and just hug your knees into your chest for a minute. And then drop your feet down onto the mat. I'm going to prepare to do that supine split on the other side. So take your arms out to the side and lift up your hips. Drop your right hip down over to the left side of the mat. Lengthen out your right leg and take that left leg over to the right. If you need to prop it, you can. I'm going to straighten that left leg out as much as you can feel it in your body, and then take your right leg back so you're kind of in a semi-split position. Now you can keep your arms open, you can bring them up and overhead, you can leave them on your body, whatever feels right for you, because we're really just working the lower body here. Stretching out the outside of that left hip, getting right down to the knee and the TFL. Support that left leg if you want. You can put a prop under it. If you want to raise it up a little bit if it would help. I like to imagine I'm leaping over the Grand Canyon. Check for tension. See if you can soften any areas that are tensing up. Just relax. Very carefully slide that left leg back. Come back to center and come into that constructive rest pose again by bringing your feet to the edges of the mat Drop your knees in towards each other and rest your hands on your torso. And prepare for the figure 4 on this side. So bring the feet back closer to your hips, parallel, and take the left ankle and cross it over the right leg. And draw the right foot in and hold on to the back of your thigh or your shins. And we'll stay here for a bit. Slowly unwind from this pose and lengthen out your legs. Take a few breaths to notice the rebound effect now that you've done both sides. Slowly roll over onto your side. We're going to make our way up to seated very, very gently. Just give your thighs a little massage your hips. So we're going to work a little bit of a different area here. So you might want to have a prop or fold it forward and take your legs a comfortable distance apart. And we're going to tuck the right leg in closer to the groins. And if your knee is up off the mat, you might want to put something under it. And we're just going to fold forward here. So I am going to use a prop. I'm going to put a prop in front of me. We're going to fold forward just to stretch out the low back, and we're going to stay here for just a couple of minutes. So come into a forward fold and support your head and neck so you're not straining it. So you can feel this on the inner left thigh and still a little bit on the outer and inner right thigh. Relax the shoulders, the arms. And slowly and carefully come back up to seated. Take your hands behind you, lift up your heart. And we're going to take a prop, if you had a prop, we're going to move that prop over to the right side of you. Place it sideways here. And then you're going to take your left leg, this is going to be, and you're going to bring the left heel close to the left hip.
Yeah, right.
And you know, if you can't get it up that far, just bring it over to the side. Just bring it to where you can possibly, even if it's just like that. So there's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. Really get into the inner groin here and then right into the top of that left hip. So we're going to fold over to the right here and lie down, just like you're lying in bed. Just lie down and stretch out that left side. And just stay here for a couple of minutes. This is one of my favorite poses. It just feels so good and stretchy. I don't know if it did the first time I did it, but it sure does now. The first time my friend and I went to a yoga yin workshop, the instructor kept saying this phrase over and over again, and I really get it now. Release, relax, renew. Or maybe it's relax, release, renew, whatever. If you can release some of this tension we hold, whether it's physical or emotional, all of a sudden you just get this burst of energy and freedom, spaciousness. You can think more clearly, detoxify. And then slowly and carefully make your way back up to seated. Take that left leg and slide it around in the front. I'm hearing all this groaning. What's going on, ladies? And just wiggle out your legs. And get your prop ready for doing this pose on the other side. So I'm going to put it in front of me, and you're going to take your left leg and bring it in to closer to your groins, and then take the right leg out to the side and the side fold, and we're going to fold over the bolster here. Probably feels different than the other side. So I'm going to, again, just be here for a couple of minutes. Prop up that left knee if it's hanging in the air, and then fold forward. And, don't rush to go forward. Like on this side, I just don't feel like going forward so quickly, so I'm just going to let my body tell me when it's ready. Slowly make your way back up to seated. Get your prop ready over on that left side. And we're going to take the right leg and try to bring that heel closer to the hip. Listen to whatever your body's telling you. And we're going to fold down over to the left and stretch it out. Walk your hands back in. Take that right leg, swing it forward. Release the left leg. Get a prop ready. We're going to come into a supported bridge pose. Do the fronts of the hips. So get that prop handy and make your way down onto your back. Just stay here for a few breaths before we come into the supported bridge, just feeling that, that juicy work we've done with stressing our connective tissue, our yin tissues. I use the word stretch, but stretch is for the muscles. And we say stress on the more plastic-like yin tissues because you're not really stretching them. You're just kind of stressing them to release to make them more malleable. So you have to have the malleable cartilage and yin tissues before you can really stretch those muscles. And I think that's a more recent finding. So I just use the word stretch, but it's really stressing. So anyway, we're going to stress the tops here. So we're going to bend the knees and put your prop of choice underneath your hips. And then on an inhale, lift those hips and place that prop under your tailbone, on your sacrum, and stretch out the legs. Or one leg at a time, depending on what works for you. So I think we've done the whole circumference of the attachments here. Just to, if you're having any issues with your hips or your low back, lumbar region, just a little bit of this yin moving each of the sides of the hips 2 or 3 times a week will really help get rid of a lot of issues in the low back. again, if you want to get a greater amount of stress on the top there, you can take one leg in, push out through the opposite leg's heel, and you'll feel a really good sensation of stressing the top of that lengthened leg. So I like to stay here for about a minute on each side in this too. So if you've been stressing one leg only, you can switch sides here, maybe pause. And then draw the other leg in. And you could release this pose by taking a nice inhale, lift up your hips, and remove the prop from underneath. And lengthen out your legs, and just feel the rebound. So bring your heels in closer to your hips, and we're going to hug the knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. And then you're going to take your knees and draw them over towards your armpits. Bring your feet up towards the ceiling and grab on to your shins or your ankles or your arches or your toes or the outsides of your feet, wherever it feels good. And we're going to stay here in a happy baby. Relaxing the shoulders and the back of the head. And then we're gonna take our legs straight up into the air for legs up the wall pose. And you can put your hands underneath your hips for this, for a little support. You can have your knees slightly bent, just trying to reverse the circulation. So again, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe make some circular motions with your hips. And when you're ready, make your way down onto your mat for the last pose of the class, Shavasana. Make yourself comfortable. Settle in. So take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out of your mouth. I'm going to start by bringing our awareness to our right hand. So notice where your right hand is placed, and then just focus on your thumb, and then your index finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your little finger. The palm of your hand, the back of your hand, and your wrist. Your whole right hand. Take a nice deep breath in and relax that hand. Now bring your awareness to your left hand. Your left thumb, your index finger, your ring finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your little finger. Palm of your hand, back of your hand, your left wrist, your whole left hand. Take a deep breath in and relax. Bring your awareness to both hands. Travel that awareness up both arms to your shoulders. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck, your jaw, your cheeks, your third eye, crown of your head. Take a deep breath in. Relax your whole upper body. Now bring your awareness to your right foot, your big toe, your second toe, your third toe, your fourth toe, your little toe, sole of your foot, top of your foot, your right ankle, your whole right foot. Take a deep breath in, relax that foot. Now bring your awareness to your left foot, your left big toe, your left second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, sole of your foot, back of your foot, your left ankle. Take a deep breath in, relax your whole left foot. Relax both feet. Travel your awareness up your legs to your hips, your belly, your groin. Relax your whole lower body. Relax your whole body. Breathe in from the base of your toes to the top of your head. Breathe out from the top of your head to the base of your toes, and let yourself float. Start to deepen your breath. Wiggle those fingers and toes. Gently roll your head from side to side. Stretch out. Make your way over onto your side and take a breath or two here before you come up to seated. Bring your hands to your heart. may we all be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some small way to the peace and harmony of the planet. Namaste.
Namaste.